Talk show that cuts to the truth, no matter how painful it might be, and no BS. Citizen Smith, Citizen Smith, Citizen Smith.
Here's a man who would not take it anymore. A man who stood up against the scum, the dogs, the filth. Here is someone who stood up.
It's time for Citizen Smith.
And good morning here on Citizen Smith. Live from Portland, Oregon. Supposed to be on YouTube live and some other video platforms, as well as our own Talkcast, pdx.com. We have a chat room set up too. We won't be taking phone calls for the time being, but chat room's there if you want to join in the conversation, talk a little bit about what's going on, whether relevant to my issues or something that's on your mind. We like to stick to the topic. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Talking about going Monday through Friday next week. Very ambitious. A lot on the plate then.
I don't want it to cut into your beauty sleep, you know.
I woke up at 4:30 in the morning.
What the hell?
What's wrong with me? I've never, ever, woken up so early like I have been lately. I go into a deep sleep for 5 hours, and suddenly I wake up, and I don't know what to do with myself. So I go on the internet and email you about something that's on my mind. And when you wake up in the morning, you see a 4:30 in the morning email from Citizen Smith.
It's my favorite thing to wake up to.
And I know what I'm sending. He's gonna, it's like, oh boy, he's gonna see this at 4. It shows up as 4:30. It doesn't look good. Welcome to my world. So then I go and I sit in bed for a half an hour to an hour looking at the ceiling, waiting to go back to sleep. It's the worst feeling.
Yeah, it's pretty deadly when you can't get back to sleep.
That's why every time I walk in the morning at 8 o'clock here at the studio in Central East Side, Portland, you say to me, "What's wrong? You look tired." I'm like, "Yeah, I am tired. I just went back to sleep at 6, woke up at 7:30. Now I'm trying to wake up mentally."
Yeah, I know.
I don't see the YouTube channel up.
Probably has to be refreshed.
On the TV screen and the iPad?
Probably.
So it's up, though.
Yeah, it's working over here.
All right. Well, you'll have to tell me what's going on with the chat room, if we get any. I feel hot. I'm sweating. I don't know why. I'm all out of balance. This pandemic's still kicking my ass, mentally. We're not fully out of it. You know when we're fully out of it is when we can go into a restaurant and sit down at a bar. That's my catalyst for, hey, we're out. I can go to a restaurant, sit at a bar, and have a drink and eat. Because I like to eat at the bar. I hate sitting at a table by myself because I'm in a new town. I usually go out by myself.
Yeah, I like to sit at the bar.
You said you don't like bars.
I like to sit at the counter, if there's a counter. I like that.
I missed that.
Yeah, I like that.
We haven't been able to do that for almost a year and a half. Think about it. I haven't been able to walk into a restaurant, sit down at a bar, get served, eat food, drink, and relax. Although there is one bar here in Central East Side that does that. The Slow Bar. That's what it's called. It's funny, though. Are they breaking the law? I'm calling them out. They're the only ones.
The only ones?
Yeah, it's the only one I've seen. I'm in and out of these places looking for places to go to profile on Tasty Good PDX, one of the little shorts we do here for things to do in Portland for good food and good drinks. And they're the only bar where you can sit at the counter. I don't understand why other bars aren't doing it. You can do it. When I drove through Oregon, starting in Ontario, Oregon, at the very south, it is the most southern city in Oregon. The first thing I did was went in the hotel bar, could sit at the bar right there. Oh, no, they had a little table. set in front of the bar. So it was like you were at the bar, but you were actually sitting at the table. That was weird. I got to ask you this, and maybe it's a stupid question, but Justin called me yesterday on the phone to tell, or I called him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm stuck in traffic on the Hawthorne Bridge."
Yeah, that was fun.
There are 5 bridges, right, that go over the Willamette River from one side of the city to the other. 5? Correct.
No,
right?
I think
4.
there's more than that.
There's more than 5?
Yeah. Let me think about that. Yeah.
Anyway, we've got 5 within the immediate area, but you're on the Hawthorne Bridge waiting because the bridge went up to let a boat or ship go
I don't
through.
know. I didn't see anything. They just put it up. So
Well,
maybe
here's
they were
the point.
working on it.
Here's the point I'm thinking about. That bridge is so high off the river. There's no ship that can hit it.
No, there can be. There's sailboats with masts and things like that are pretty big.
Dude,
But,
that thing's like 100, 200 feet up off of the water surface.
I've just never seen the Hawthorne Bridge go up. That was weird. All this time I've been here, never.
Well, I was thinking,
yeah.
what is it going up for? I never see
I
a
don't
big
know.
ship
I
go
think-
through the Willamette River. It does like little skiffs and boats and a ferry, and that's it.
I think they're working on it. I think that's why it went up.
Maybe there was a time when bigger ships went up and down the river, and they don't do it anymore. I don't know. Those are old bridges, so they were just working on it. Okay, now I've got my answer. Because I was going to ask you, how big was the ship that went under the bridge that they needed to actually raise it? Let me get on to what's really been pressing me today and yesterday since I read this, and I'm going to read it to you now from the Wall Street Journal opinion page. And when I read this article, it shocked me. I was stunned. It was an opinion column that actually stunned me when I read it. And the headline is, and this is on the Monday, June 7th paper, which I got on Tuesday. For some reason, it didn't get delivered on time. Opinion page A17, and I'm going to detail this column quite a bit in what I read, because when I read this to you, you're going to be like, no way. And it's written by Stephen Quay and Richard Muller. And I'm just going to read you their bios before I read this to you. Dr. Quay is founder of Atossa Therapeutics and author of, quote, Stay Safe, A Physician's Guide to Survive Coronavirus. And Mr. Muller is an emeritus professor of physics at the University of California, Berkeley, and a former senior scientist at the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory. And what these guys wrote about the coronavirus is going to blow you away. The headline, the science suggests a Wuhan lab leak. Okay, that's not such a big deal, you say, right? Wait till you see what they say about the evidence suggesting this. If it's not a smoking gun, I don't know what is. So, they write, and I'm going to just go to the highlighted sections here, that the most compelling reason to favor a lab leak hypothesis is firmly based in science. In particular, consider the genetic fingerprint of CoV-2, COVID-2, the novel coronavirus responsible for the disease COVID-19. A genome, as they write, is a blueprint for the factory of a cell to make proteins. The language is made up of 3-letter words, 64 in total, that represent the 20 different amino acids. For example, there are 6 different words for the amino acid arginine, the one that is often used in supercharging viruses. Every cell has a different preference for which word it likes to use most. They said, and I don't want to get so far into this detailed wise that I lose you, but they write that tells in the case of the gain of function supercharge, other sequences could have been spliced into this same site instead of a CGG-CGG, known as double CG, that tells the protein factory to make 2 arginine amino acids in a row, you'll obtain equally lethality by splicing any one of 35 other 2-word combinations for double arginine. If the insertion takes place naturally, say through recombination, then one of those 35 other sequences is far more likely to appear. CGG is really used in the class of coronaviruses that can recombine with COVID-2. That's key. In fact, the entire class of coronaviruses, because there's more than one coronavirus. There's a lot of coronaviruses, and we're talking about the coronavirus CoV-2 COVID-19. So they write, in fact, the entire class of coronaviruses that includes CoV-2, the CGG-CGG combination, has never been found naturally. That means the common method of viruses picking up new skills called recombination cannot operate here. A virus simply cannot pick up a sequence from another virus if that sequence isn't present in any other virus. So the damning fact, they write, it was this exact sequence that appears in CoV-2. Proponents of zoonotic origin must explain why the novel coronavirus, when it mutated or recombined, happened to pick its least favorite combination, the double CGG. Why did it replicate the choice of labs' gain of function researchers would have made? When the lab's Shi-Jung Lee and colleagues published a paper, this is the Wuhan lab we're talking about, where we think the leak happened. In February 2020, when they published this paper with the virus partial genome, they omitted any mention of the special sequence that supercharges the virus or the rare double CGG section. Yet the fingerprint is easily identified in the data that accompanied the paper. Was it omitted in the hope that nobody would notice this evidence of the gain of function origin? But in the matter of weeks, virologist Bruno Coutard and colleagues published their discovery of the sequence in CoV-2, COVID-19, and its novel supercharged site. Double CGG is there. You only have to look. They comment in their paper that the protein that held it, quote, may provide a gain of function and, quote, capability to the virus, quote, for efficient spreading to humans. In other words, somebody fucked with this virus to make it more contagious to humans. Naturally, it wouldn't have been. There is additional scientific evidence that points to CoV-2's gain of function origin. The most compelling is the dramatic differences in the genetic diversity of CoV-2 compared with the coronaviruses responsible for SARS and MERS. Those also coronaviruses. Both of those were confirmed to have a natural origin. SARS and MERS had a natural origin. The viruses evolved rapidly as they spread through the human population until the most contagious forms dominated. COVID-19 didn't work that way. It appeared in humans already adapted into an extremely contagious version. No serious viral improvement took place until a minor variation occurred many months later in England. Such early optimization is unprecedented, and it suggests a long period of adaptation that predated its public spread. Science knows of only one way that could be achieved: simulated natural evolution, growing the virus on human cells until the optimum is achieved. That is precisely what is done in gain-of-function research. Mice that are genetically modified to have the same coronavirus receptor as humans, called humanized mice, which is pretty bizarre, are repeatedly exposed to the virus to encourage adaptation. And they conclude the presence of the double CGG sequence is strong evidence of gene splicing, and the absence of diversity in the public outbreak suggests gain-of-function acceleration. The scientific evidence points to the conclusion that the virus was developed in a laboratory. End of column. Smoking gun. Coronavirus made in the lab in Wuhan and then leaked. And that's how it reached us. Human beings already susceptible to the infection that this could create. You tell me after that, I got to believe that's it. That's evidence that what they're saying, what happened with this coronavirus was not a natural occurrence. It was already ready to spread to humans easily. Wow.
It's pretty crazy.
Remember when Trump said early on when this virus started that they had clear evidence, very strong evidence, that this came from a lab in Wuhan, which is, by the way, financed by the Chinese military, and they get grants, I've been reading, from America, which now the Congress is saying, well, we're not providing grants anymore to the Wuhan Virology Lab, Institute of Virology, because people wanted to research this stuff. If the military is involved in this lab, what the hell is the military involved? The military is only concerned about one thing only: weapons of mass destruction. So in this case, the military is financing a lab that, I don't know why nobody's using this terminology, but biowarfare. Developing a coronavirus that can kill people. Why hasn't anybody said that?
Yeah, you think they would have piped up already, right?
You would think there'd be a lot of investigation in what we're talking about, other than a page. I'm curious to see this striking investigative piece comes out on an opinion page rather than a full-blown investigative article, which I assume there will be a follow-up in the Wall Street Journal. Why do we have to look for a columnist to write what should have been an investigative story early on anyway?
Yeah. You're getting some activity on the chat line as well. So I was going to put one up here for you.
Where is it? I'm not seeing
it says,
it.
this is from our good friend Ray.
Yeah.
He's on Facebook. It says, trillions of dollars spent around the world, people's lives ended, others put in serious long-term health issues, all life altered and put on hold for a year and a half, and China will pay no price for its crimes.
Ah, there it is. Now it showed up. I see it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're going to have a little delay because of that.
Oh, but it goes. We're getting used to this video streaming thing. I find it fascinating, quite frankly.
It's a lot of fun.
And the whole quote that he just wrote flashes across the bottom of the screen. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Or Facebook.
Who's
Live
the old guy doing the show? That's me.
Some old guy. This should be called Old Guy Reading Newspaper.
Just an old guy reading a newspaper.
That's all I do.
Oh, there it is on the big screen. Yeah. So we got one from Ray. If anybody wants to join in on the chat and they're listening live or watching live, feel free to type in your comments. We're developing this. This is a breakthrough, game-changing showmanship here of a call-in type show. We're not taking phone calls right now. We've just opened up the chat room, which is fine. That's one way to get involved.
Yeah, And we're live all over the place. So YouTube, Facebook.
Yeah, China. We're in China. I have 16 viewers in Beijing. I'm sure it's the propaganda machine watching and listening to everything we say. You know, I used to work for worked for China Media for a year in Beijing, so they know me well.
Did you think? Let me ask you a question. When you went to work for the country for China Media, did you think they would just let you do stuff and it'd be okay? But they put the clamp on you pretty hard, and that's what drove you out. I think, wasn't it? You were like, "Fuck this! This guy's crazy."
Well, they they hired me
crazy.
to do a talk show, and then I started sharing my opinions.
Whoops!
Very moderate opinions, I might add. And that was the end of the talk show. Ken, we're going to find you another place to go. How about we do travel features with you, and we'll send you around the country to try food and talk about culture.
On Facebook Live. You're gonna
Yeah.
have a great time.
Yeah. And, I don't know if this talk things were actually, I left the talk show, so this ain't working, man. It's not a talk show. They read from scripts, and you couldn't veer off the script, and you couldn't share opinions about politics and such on China Radio International. They didn't want that. I simply said something like Xi Jinping and Trump were negotiating on the trade pact. And I said, it's like a poker game. Who's got the better hand is not being shown right now. And then, you can't say that. You're going to get us fired.
Well, it's a good thing they let you do travel features instead of sending you to like the Gulag or some crazy place, some concentration camp.
I was actually a better place for me. I don't know why. They're the ones that suggested a talk show. I was quite comfortable traveling around and eating food and going to cultural places and art and stuff. That was fun.
I think
fine.
Yeah, you do that now with your little side gig. Tasty Good PDX.
Needless to say, though, they didn't want to rehire me.
I want to remind people, though, that you got Tasty Good PDX out there as well, and you got a new episode up and running right now.
Yeah, on Vietnamese Bistro.
Yeah. How do you say it?
Sinsin. Excellent.
Thank you.
I wanted to mention this. Okay, again, I'm going to refer to the opinion page of the Wall Street Journal. They wrote regarding the lack of investigation into the coronavirus that if this is by free expression by Gerard Baker, if too many American scientists failed to help us get a proper understanding of the origins of COVID, they seem to have been abetted by like-minded people in the permanent bureaucracy. Emails to and from Anthony Fauci uncovered last week show that while there were some genuinely diligent officials determined to get to the truth of the coronavirus origin, too many in positions of power seemed keen to stamp out a proper investigation. Catherine Eben reported in Vanity Fair last week, officials from two separate bureaus in the State Department warned against a proper investigation of fear of opening a can of worms. Journalists were once marked by curiosity. Now the only thing that's curious about many of them is their lack of curiosity when a story doesn't fit their priors. They're talking about President Trump when he mentioned that we have evidence that this came from a lab, strong evidence. Our security and investigative arm in the CIA or wherever knew about this coronavirus manufacturing in a lab. Everybody just walked away from that comment like it was just absurd and it's just the president being stupid and sensational. Remember? Just walked away. Nobody followed up on that at all, which I found a bit odd when being a journalist myself. And I kept saying, isn't there a big pink elephant in the room when I started this show in November? I said the pink elephant is the Wuhan Institute of Virology is where the virus broke out. I mean, in Wuhan, is it the pink elephant being there's an institute of virology doing research on the coronavirus in the very city it broke out? Coincidence.
Coincidental.
No, nobody decided to investigate that aspect of the story.
That's weird. You got some more activity on the chat here. It says, please tell Citizen Smith that it's Fauci, not Fossey. You said Fauci.
Yeah, hang on. Keep going. Is it all right? Fauci.
It's Fauci.
Fauci.
Dr. Fauci.
I don't know if that's I wonder what nationality that guy is.
Fauci.
What is that?
I don't know. I don't care.
It's
America.
Well, it depends how you pronounce it. Could be pronounced differently in another country. Fauci. Depending on where you are.
You're not in another country. You're in America. Fauci.
Was that Ray that corrected me?
I don't know. I'm looking. I'm too busy.
All right.
It's almost break time, though.
Yeah, let's take a break from the coronavirus talk. When I come back, Jeff Bezos wants to blast into outer space. I just think that's a riot. Maybe he won't come back, and we'll get cheaper prices on Amazon.
Hang tight. TalkCast PDX is a digital platform for local talk shows, live video streaming shows, and podcasts originating from Portland, Oregon. We are committed to a diversity of opinions and quality talk that offers something for everyone. At our brand new state-of-the-art studio, we offer a wide range of services to meet every type of broadcasting need. Yes, we will help you record and edit your podcast or program. We also help you distribute on multiple platforms, and we can also help you transcribe your show for a blog. We offer video services and promotional services, as well as ad revenue packages. Email us today for a special introductory offer. Everything you need to start your own show as soon as possible. We're here to help. Go to TalkCastPDX.com, that's TalkCastPDX.com, and send us a message today.
Welcome back to Citizen Smith here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Taking my headphones off because I just don't, they're bugging my ear. I'm tired of wearing them. If I don't really need them, I just, well, and plus I look better without them.
We need to get you some earbuds or something so you can still hear what's going on.
Well, that's right. I can't hear you if I don't have them on.
That's right.
Shit.
So we got to get you some earbuds or something like that. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. This video thing is a whole different ballgame, right? We're all adjusting to it, but it is so cool, right? No, they say 55% of podcasters want to see their podcast, not just hear it. Interesting. We're a very visual age this day and age. The young kids, the millennials, the 20-somethings, the Generation Zs, they want to see a face talking. They just can't focus on the audio only. That's what's going on. There's such a visual generation. They're not used to just hearing audio. They have to see it. You ever think about that? That generation, when they're just listening to audio, probably can't focus on it. They start wandering, and their brains can't just listen to audio. That's why I keep telling our podcasters on TalkCast PDX, do video and audio, because we have the ability. And 55% of the audience wants to see a video. So when I'm watching our hosts say, no, we just want audio, I'm like, man, you don't know what's going on anymore. Even I, Mr. Talk Radio veteran, have adapted to the situation. Video must be used in this day and age to communicate to the younger generation and grow an audience. So Jeff Bezos is flying into outer space. I just think this is a riot. He can't wait to get on this ship. First one that they're sending up there. Where the heck did the front page on this? Anyway, his Blue Origin is his company, and they're going up shortly, like in another month. And he's going to be on the first one. Him and his brother. All right, I don't mean to be cynical or, somewhat dark in what I observe here, but it's a little risky, isn't it, going up in the first one? Something could go wrong,
Send the chimp first.
Yeah. What
Damn,
happened
what
to
are you
that?
thinking?
They've done like 15 test flights with nobody on the ship. And there was a time when NASA did these things, but they put a monkey or a dog in there or a frog or something.
Was the right stuff when Chuck Yeager shows the cover of Life magazine, the monkeys on the front, and he looks at all the other pilots. He goes, does that look like a guy that'll put some doo-doo in the capsule? Instead of saying, oh, shit, they did a monkey. So
Well, Jeff Bezos wants to be on the first one that goes into outer space, and it's a $500,000 fee.
that's like a day at the arcade for him. 500 grand.
Well, I'm sure he's not paying.
Here you go.
He's getting comped.
I'm gonna pay for everybody on
him
the
and
flight.
his brother.
I just gotta pay for everybody on the
But
flight.
what, I mean, we're talking one of the richest men in the world. What if something goes wrong and the thing blows up? I'm just going to say it, or it doesn't re-enter properly, or something goes wrong and he doesn't come back. He's not alive anymore because of this. And there goes one of the richest men in the world, and Amazon's CEO and owner.
So you can't take it with you.
I just think it's a little risky. I don't know. I want to reach out to him, just say, hey, Jeff, look, you're kind of an important guy to a big company here, and we all rely on you for our retail purchases. And this might not be, I don't think this is the best time for you to be flying into outer space, but maybe wait a few flights later, make sure it's safe. There might be some bugs in the system you haven't figured out yet. That might be a little risky for you. All right, let's hold off for like 6 months to that flight. That's what Elon Musk is doing. He's going to wait till like the third flight to go up in his. Was it Elon Musk? Let me make sure about that. Or is it the other? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Elon Musk.
Old guy reading newspaper.
Yeah, Elon Musk plans this year to carry paying passengers higher than Blue Origin or Virgin Galactic, taking them into orbit. Passengers with all three companies could join the fewer than 600 people who have traveled in space, according to Blue Origin's tally. But Elon's playing it safe. Yeah, we'll send a few people up in the first few flights. I'll be on the third one. That's when I'm going. Smart, right? Would you want to go into outer space and pay a lot of money? I would. But I'd be a little nervous about, these things. I just keep thinking of Challenger disaster.
I'd
right?
wait till like the 10th flight, but not like the 30th flight, because I feel like after 30, everybody be comfortable, maybe put their guard down a little bit. I'd go like the 10th flight.
I think these private businesses are being very brash, hasty, and I think they're playing with fire literally by being so brash and risky at this point in the game. And hey, space flight is dangerous, and everybody knows it. There's no way to make it not dangerous. It's flying into outer space. We're not at the Star Trek period where they just jump on board and, all right, Captain, let's hit the button and go.
Warp speed.
Warp speed. All right, everybody. We don't need spacesuits or anything. We're just hanging out with our nice nylon shirts. Polyester, we're not at that point yet. We're still at the point where they need to be able to fit into a space suit properly, and it's got to be airtight.
I think it's funny. Polyester suits. It's like some other kind of material we've never seen.
All right. I'm going to finish with the birth rate of America. China is going down, other countries. And for some reason, like economists and people analyze data on this stuff, think it's a bad thing that things like America is now approaching its lowest in more than 4 decades of birth rates and fertility rates. They fell to their lowest rate since the governments began tracking it in the 1930s. The rate is below what experts consider the replacement rate of the number of new babies to keep the population level stable. And I say, who wants to keep the population base stable? We're overpopulated in this world. We have over 9 billion people. We don't have the resources to keep growing in population. We need to become less populated. We're an overpopulated world. Look at the congestion in our cities in America and the suburbs. We're living on top of each other. Habitat is gone. We try to find wild places in America. It's pretty hard. You drive across the country and it's all farmland because we're trying to feed so many people. We've taken up the natural prairies in the natural world. And I say to China and America and countries that are overpopulated, which we are in America, It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Less people in the world. That's what the world needs. That means less carbon dioxide emissions. That means less plundering the ocean for its fish. We're losing the natural world to try to accommodate our overpopulation. So I don't understand. Again, this is the type of writing that it's safe to say, oh, it's a bad thing that our population is going down. No, that's the safe way to report it. Yeah, the economy is not going to be as robust. Certainly consumerism will be down. That's a good thing. We're not going to have enough people to take care of the baby boomers when they're older. So what? We overdid it by having too many kids, 5 and 6 a family. Now we're making up for it. I say, great. The population is going down in the world. We should reduce it by a couple of billion at least, so that we don't have to live in a world that everything is about humans and nothing about the safety of the environment and the wild animals we share this with. We've lost that part of ourselves. People don't even know what wildlife is in a wilderness setting. All we know is paved streets and lights that block out the sky because we've repopulated the world so much that we've blunted the wild world. No, falling birth rates isn't a problem, policymakers. Falling birth rates means a safer world to live in and a better world in the long term. We always look at things in the short term. Oh, in 30 years, there's going to be this problem. In 20 years, there's not going to be this to take care. The economy will be collapsing. There won't be enough people to be in the workplace. How about in 100 years? If we keep up what's going on, we won't be on this planet in 100 years. If the population keeps increasing. Let's look at the long term. I think maybe the ideal number is probably like half the amount of people on this planet. What if there's like 3.5 billion people? More space, bigger homes, and wildlife will rebound in the natural world. That is the sustenance of our lives. That's my point of view. But you won't read that in opinion columns. You know why? Because we're a show that cuts to the truth. And that is today's show on Citizen Smith. Friday, we'll get back into it again. Take your chats live Pacific time here in Portland, Oregon. Citizen Smith. Have a great day.